Welcome to another of our lessons on religion. Now, today we're looking at that other really big chunk. It's the second largest group in the whole of Britain, and it probably is larger than we think. Even though most Britons consider themselves to be Christian, a lot of those people, when they're asked about their belief in Christianity, don't really believe in it. They don't necessarily believe in the Bible. They don't believe in the God. So actually, probably a much bigger percentage than 30% is actually no religion, really. They might say they're Christian because of their tradition and culture and history, but really when you ask them, do you believe in God? They might tell you, well, no, I don't. And understanding why people might not believe in God and where people are coming from is really, really important, because this is a really big growing phenomenon. Even though I said around 30% of the whole country don't believe in God, if we look at those statistics in young people, who, remember, these are the people who are going to be old people soon, between the ages of 16 and 30, 70% don't believe in any religion whatsoever. They don't believe in any holy book, they don't believe in any God. Okay, so that is a really large part, with only about 25% being Christian and 3 or 4% being Islamic. So we need to understand this if we're going to understand the kind of future direction of our country and where people are coming from. Now, no religion is still kind of split into some subgroups. We've got atheists, we've got humanists, and we've got agnostics or agnosticism. And there are many other kind of groups that people put them in. Some people might just say, I'm nothing, I'm just a human, which is fair enough. Other people might say, I'm an atheist. So what does atheist mean? An atheist believes that there is just no God. It's definitely true. They believe that definitely. Okay? They look at the history of the universe and the earth, and they look at something called evolution, which we'll talk about a little bit more, and they say to themselves, there's no need for God. It doesn't need to be part of my understanding of the world. They think that the world exists without any prior creator. This little symbol here is infinity. So an atheist might tell you that the earth and the universe has been going on forever. It never had a beginning, it never had an end. And in a world of infinite possibilities, our existence is quite likely. So infinite is the idea of something never starting and never ending. There's a little saying, which is that if you put an infinite number of monkeys in a room with an infinite number of typewriters, one of them will rewrite the whole of Shakespeare. It seems ridiculous, but if you've got an endless number of something, then endless options happen. And that's what they believe our life is. It doesn't have any meaning, there's no reason for it, they don't believe in heaven or hell, they just think we're here by chance, so you might as well make the most of it. That's an atheist. A humanist probably believes in much the same things, but they really believe that with your life you need to do something good with it. A humanist believes that being kind to others and loving is kind of a purpose to life. Even though they don't believe we've been created, they still think you need to be good to be successful. They believe that if you know, how do we know something's good, okay, if nobody tells us? So a Christian might say, I know right and wrong because it says it in the Bible. A humanist doesn't have a Bible, so how do they decide what's right and wrong? Well, they know what their own feelings are. They know that when they get given a gift, they feel happy, so that must be good, so give other people gifts. They know that if someone hits them, ow, that feels bad, so that must be bad, don't harm other people. And actually they've decided what's right and wrong based on people's feelings. So they don't need to be told by a god or a religion what's right or wrong. We as humans can work it out. I mean, animals work it out. Dogs know sort of what's right and wrong, and they can't even read, they can't understand religion. Agnosticism is a little bit different. An agnostic doesn't necessarily believe there's no God. They might say there might be a God, there might not be a God, but they don't put themselves in one religion. So a bit like some of the Buddhists who say you can't work it out. An agnostic says, well, you can't know. You can't prove there is a God, and you can't. And you can't prove there's not a God. You can't. You can't prove any of these things. When we look at the other religions, there's something called faith, which is that you have to accept it. It's one of the core pillars of Islam, is accepting that there is one God and that Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the prophet and his messenger. So you have to just take a leap with religion. Agnostics say, well, I don't want to take that leap, but also I don't want to take the leap so there's none, so I'm just going to get on with my life. Okay, so they have no driving force there. A lot of the symbols that are often represented is happiness, love, and peace are the sort of main components of there being no religion. Now, of course, this can be done in lots of different ways. There are some countries that support there being no religion in the past. Lots of Russia would have said that, although not so much today. Currently, China is a big country with no big push on religion, although obviously religions do exist there. And just throughout all the world, it is a growing phenomenon that religion is potentially something that's being moved to the past. So we need to understand why some people might come in looking at the world like this and might not see it in the same way as we do. One last thing. I've often said how old each religion is. No religion is probably the oldest of them all, because it's existed forever. Because, you know, even before humans were around, so long back in our evolution, before we were even human, when we were little creatures or back to single-celled prokaryotes, there was no religion because no one could talk, no one could write. So it's always been there. And if you took all the humans away from the world and left all the animals, well, the animals wouldn't know about Christianity and Islam because they can't read or understand things. So there would still be no religion. All the other religions would go and no religion would exist. So in a way, no religion is the oldest. I realise I'm starting to get a little bit confusing here. But the basics are atheists, humanists, agnostics don't necessarily believe in a God. Try and get their morals through feelings and understanding what's good to them. And it is a big growing thing, very popular amongst young people, so it probably will be even bigger when we're older. Right, so that's your last post really, is about no religion. See if you can find out who some of the major proponents, like major people who talk about no religion. There's people like Professor Dawkins and other people, other celebrities who talk about it. So you could maybe find a little bit about that, make a poster for me, get it emailed to me. Any questions you've got about this, fantastic. I'd love to hear them. Off you go.